Okay, hi everybody. This is the Queens of Poker.
Hi.
I'm Julie Keene and Sandy Arumier, and we have a very special guest from the Women's Poker Association, WPA. Christina Black is going to tell us about their Raise It Up program to make all poker rooms and casinos safer for all people, but it's especially aimed at women like us that play in them. And before we go there, we want to talk about the Twitter news of the week, which is Maria Konnikova and Maria Ho, both the Marias, seem to have run into a problem at the WSOP this year, 2024. Do you want to tell us about it, Sandy, since you saw it first?
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter that they were denied entry coming back to the tournament area by a security guard who said that it was for poker players only. I'd like to know how that security guard distinguishes poker players from regular casino goers.
And I think this is the exact reason we made this podcast, because people have this gender bias and assume we're not real poker players because we're female. And I didn't even play for a long time because it seemed like not my world or whatever. So that's exactly why we have this podcast. And maybe it was just lack of training and a simple mistake, but it is interesting. It's like such a bias. What do you think about it, Christina?
Well, I read the article, very well written. I would like
Oh,
to say it was really in depth. It had lots of good descriptions, and it was definitely from their point of view, right? While reading it to enlighten on a few different scenarios of how it could have happened, why it happened. It could have been lack of training. It could have been just somebody who is unfamiliar or unaware
mhm,
of poker in general. He's a security guard, right?
right.
While you have two notables in poker, like we know who they are, right? As women, we support and encourage women, right? And so we're like, oh, Maria Ho, of course she's a poker player. But
Hmm.
to somebody else who might not quite know, it could just have been not rational thinking, right? Oh
Right,
yes,
right.
women are playing poker. Oh yes, please go back to the tournament area, to be singled out. It's happening, right? And this
Yeah,
is why we do what we do.
yeah.
We try to raise some awareness here. Reading the article, there's some positives.
Mhm.
They were able to stand up for themselves. That a male poker player went and addressed the situation as well. And so while we can, have our opinions, it happens, and it happened recently.
Hmm.
This isn't 10 years ago. This isn't 15
Yeah,
years ago, right? This was
right.
last week at the World Series of Poker, which is even kind of more crazy because it is a huge poker event. Like that's why people are at that venue, particularly.
Right.
So to be coming back, and I just wonder how would have I handled it? I'm not a well-known poker player, so it could happen to anybody really. And then
Right.
somebody might be intimidated or not want to go back or not have their receipt, like here, yes, I'm playing. This is my seat. Let me go back to my table. You
Hmm.
just never know, right? So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's interesting, and I'm glad people are speaking up. I'm glad this was written, because it just gives some validity to what we're doing, right?
To the when people say like, why do women need something special in poker? Because of things like this. It probably would have made me at least think about maybe I shouldn't be here. I went to my first WPT last year at the Encore where I play and stay pretty often, but I was never at a WPT. I've only done WSOP circuits until hopefully the end of this month. But I would feel like I already felt like, oh my God, am I supposed to be here? Just that I'm not that high of a level of a player. I don't think I am. But it's mostly dudes, right? The good thing I joke about is we can get in the bathroom easier. There's never a line for women for once, and the men's is ridiculous. But when you said I didn't know about this, I'm glad you read the article. Did you mean her post, or is there an actual article that was written? Because let's put that info up too, if there
So
wasn't
her post was
this
an
one.
actual article.
Yeah, it's on
Okay.
Substack. It says Substack is where she posted the article.
Okay,
Yes,
so
that's correct.
I'm gonna read it. I'm so interested. I will find this for the podcast watchers and link it for that so you guys can read it too, and maybe we'll follow up next week if need be or on another podcast. I'm so glad you read it and to give us your opinion. And it's a perfect segue into the Raise It Up program, which I have been dying to hear about. So thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so excited.
Do you want to
Please
just,
tell us,
yeah.
please tell us how it came about, how it started.
So the Raise It Up program, it's interesting that you asked that because I was a subscriber member of the WPA, it's a Women's Poker Association. And when I came on the board, there was some different programs that needed a program director. And so when I was looking at the different programs, thinking there was one in particular I was more interested in, I actually read through the whole Race It Up program. And then I said, that's the one. That's the one that I want to adopt. That's the one that I want to run with. And so before me, it was already an established idea. It needed some traction and implementation during COVID. And the lovely ladies that were on the board, they did a wonderful job laying the foundation and the groundwork, right? So I'm not going to take their credit because they're amazing. But COVID happened, a lot of different transitions happened. They'd already started some conversations with a lot of the casinos, and I know that they were making some groundwork, and then unfortunately, life, right?
Yeah.
So when I came on the board, I was able to run with the program a little bit. It's been interesting. There's some navigations, a lot of different rooms. Some of them have closed, some have had change of management, and that's okay, right? Like that happens. That's it's the industry,
a
really.
lot of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the rooms I've been able to connect with, though, have been so positive and willing to listen, and see what it's all about. What do we have to offer? What can we do for their room? And so it's been really, really good as far as, there's a need, right? The age-old question, and this isn't a new question, why aren't there more ladies? Where are the ladies? Why am I the only lady in the room? Like we've been asking that for a long time, right? But there are some different things that we can do to change and, help grow the women who want to play or are interested in playing. And that's what we like to focus on too.
Yes. I love that. Sandy, do you have questions for her?
Yeah. So the program, what is your goal for this program? To get more women to play at casinos and poker, or is it for safety reasons? I'm just trying to
and
get more of an explanation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we really want to elevate the player experience, right? We want to make sure that women feel comfortable and that there's respect in the poker rooms. We are the Women's Poker Association, so it is geared towards women. But honestly, even at the tables when I'm there, men, women, whether we're young or we're older, everybody deserves the same respect. And so we're just asking, it's like step it up, raise it up, right? Like do more than what we're already doing, to where everybody involved at the table has a pleasant player employee, let's even bring the dealers into it. We've seen plenty of times some abuse on the other side of the table, right? Not necessarily where your chips are when they're pitching the cards. Like it's okay. And that's all really what the program's all about. Poker rooms have adopted these types of procedures already. It's not uncharted territory for them. We see it all the time. I see it all the time. I'm in Vegas, right? We're in a room and maybe somebody is getting obnoxious or overly excited and passionate, right? And so the poker room, either the director of a tournament or the poker room manager of the cash game will walk over and say, hey, what's going on? They're already doing these steps. So we're not
I've noticed that. Sorry, I've noticed that Vegas is totally different. When you guys come and visit LA casinos and you're out of town Vegas players, you'll say, we don't get treated like this over there. We are treated
Why
much
is it
better.
tolerated?
The dealers are treated much better. Here, we don't have the same they don't have the same setups. It's really unfortunate because when you are at a table and someone's being obnoxious, or you want the floor to handle it, and they really don't do anything. They don't want to get involved.
Some, not all
A lot of the
casinos.
places, I don't
Yeah.
want to say any names,
Right.
but there are a couple that are really great that will stand up for the players and for the dealers, because that's their employees, but there are a few that just don't.
Yes.
So it's like that's what we need, a program like this at every casino, so we feel protected as individuals and players.
Totally. Here's what I have seen, and I will name some names. Recently, Hollywood Park. Although they do have one really good dealer in floor, Johnny, the rest of them, from what I've seen, are not controlling the people who are on tilt, or the people who are clearly don't care if they're intimidating other players, from throwing the cards at the dealer, saying bad things to the dealer, to I've been intimidated. Well, he tried to intimidate me there at a cash game. And it's like, I wasn't intimidated because I knew he was on tilt, and I know I can protect myself if I have to, but the floor should have been there. The rest of the table guys stood up for me and told him, chill, or we're calling floor. But floor it was loud. Floor should have been there, and it just is super chaotic there, versus Lucky Lady and Hustler, where our tournaments used to be, where Vince has literally gotten between me and a drunk man and a drunk lady once, who were going after me just because I won a hand. And I've lost my temper. I've gone on tilt, and they're like, you need to tone it down, like getting frustrated. So I'm not saying anybody's perfect, but recently Russ, the tournament director at Lucky Lady, a guy did the same thing. He said FUB and threw the cards straight at the dealer. It wasn't her fault. It was a bad beat. We all get them. And she started to cry. I could see the tear. And I said, Floor, come over here. And I told him, the guy ran out, literally was like booking it because he knew he messed up. He's a semi-regular. Russell went after him. He came back and he said he's banned for life to the dealer, because she wanted to then get up. We don't have enough dealers in LA. I don't know about Vegas, but and you don't treat a woman like that. That's not fair. You don't treat anybody who's doing their job when we're playing a game. So, and then it started a whole debate at our table, which was close to the final table. I can't remember. We were pretty close. And then the whole debate, because there were a couple guys who were angry that this guy was banned for life when that's all he did. And so we all were getting heated. If they had a policy like the Raise It Up, which I want to hear like how this could help something like that, I just think it's not a question anymore. You know, if you cannot control your emotions, which I also work on, you can't play. You're not going to be in that casino, right? And then I will go to those casinos. HP could implement this, and then I would be happy to go back there, right? Because it's just as close. I'm in LA. It's very close, but I'll go to Gardens because they handle these things better. And that's where my money's going. So how do you think that would help in like this situation specifically? Like, what are the precedents set by the program that would create like a safer environment?
Yeah. So what I do, and when I contact a room and I let them know the program outline, because it is a very informal agreement, right? We want to see if the room or the card club, or, you know, because recently I just partnered with a card club in Texas, right? So it's not even a casino. It's a card club that reached out and said,
go Texas.
Right. And so when I let them know, hey, do you want to partner with us? Does this sound like something you guys already have in place, or that, you know, some practices that you could adopt? And they say yes, I do let them know that we're all human and things happen. You're not going to get kicked out of the Raise It Up program, or you're not going to be a recommended room on our list to other women, right? Because of something that happens. So usually I'll ask whoever I'm talking with, whoever the decision maker is, right? That's who I usually want to talk to. And sometimes it's multiple people, and sometimes legal has to get involved. So it's a lot of conversations, a lot of moving parts, and we're all volunteer. The WPA is a volunteer-based program. So when I'm speaking with them, I ask them, what can we do to support you? What can I do to help you? Now, if it's a back and forth relationship, right? If they're like, well, what are you hearing from ladies? What kind of feedback are you getting? You know, and I can even tell them, well, maybe you guys should do a survey. You know, maybe you should try this, or we can give them some things. We don't want to tell them what to do, and we don't really technically want to train them because that's their business, right? But we can assist if they ask us for some assistance. we need to know what role that they want to do and what do they want to take place. And a lot of it is training. Sometimes those types of situations that you just described, they don't happen often enough to where sometimes people know how to handle it, or they don't know what their liberties are as far as what their role is. Sometimes even here in Vegas, only certain levels of management, not even supervisors, can, ask somebody to leave or give them a day suspension or longer than that, right? Depending on what actually happened in the room. So, if at the dealer level it gets escalated to some sort of floor or a supervisor, sometimes those instances happen so fast. And so to make a quick decision, if they're not having ongoing training, or if they're not going over certain scenarios, hopefully that's a learning experience, because they should be documenting things like that. I know that they do here in Vegas, if there's some sort of incident or something like that. I'm not quite sure other places, but it could be addressed or talked about, or how was it handled? How can we handle it differently? Who was involved, or what were the circumstances? So that way, when it happens the next time, I also know that there's some turnover. And so sometimes you have a new employee, they're not quite sure how to handle it as well. And we get it. We've all talked about it. And I just think that if the focus is there, like, hey, we've made this commitment, we want to do better, for men, women, everybody who's at the table, then, we'll all have a better time and experience, and we'll want to keep going back. What if a new player was there just watching? What if they weren't even part of the whole thing and they're just sitting there like, oh my gosh, this is what I'm going to come to? They might not ever go back. Right. And how horrible would that be?
I've seen that.
That'd be awful.
Yeah.
So that's what we don't want to happen, right? We want to encourage and say, hey, let's go together. And then, hopefully, those experiences are just limited and isolated. Like, we're not hearing of it very often, right?
Go ahead.
Sorry. Would you say this is more of a framework with less than, you said it wasn't about like, if they do this, we do this, because that's on them. Is it more about like, I have seen that there's a listing on, I think on your website, of the poker rooms who partner with us. So for me, especially if I'm in Vegas, I mean, first of all, I'm looking at the WPA for the LIPS tournaments. I want to support all the ladies tournaments. So many of us said we will travel for them because we have a big email list. And I know that the Poker League of Nations and the Pocket Queens, we all will travel when we can to support these, and we will support the casinos who support us. So would you say it's more for that endorsement, or like knowing that other ladies have said, yeah, this is safe, you can go, like, which I do say about Lucky Lady, right? But I have ladies go, and if there's something bad that day or one of those incidents, I feel kind of stupid, like, oh well, it was a one time, or it was a bad night. I would feel better if my local casinos had that factor. So would you say that's what it is, more is for us women to know? Or
I would. I mean, we have both men, because we do have the purple tie guy program as far as the male members or subscribers to our page. But a lot of women are searching out our page. We have Player of the Year. So some women want to see their points, or they want to track that. We have advocates, and we have regional advocates. So a lot of different women are coming to our page for different reasons. The Raise It Up just happens to be one of the programs that we have a strong focus on that, especially because there's a lot of women's events coming up, and there's a lot of different topics that are popping up that we want to emphasize. And most recently, Julie, you reached out to me, but other ladies are reaching out to me. Like, I want my poker room that I go to all the time to be part of this program too. It's like, absolutely, get me in touch with them. Tell me who to contact. Make a soft introduction, right?
I love it.
So that way, I can talk to them. I can tell them about the program. I can let them know this is what we have. If you want to partner with us, we'd love that. And then we take the next steps from there, right? And so, we really want to focus on doing that. Go ahead.
I have a follow-up question to that regarding say someone is new to a poker room or they're visiting town, Vegas, and they want to play a game. When they walk up to the poker room, do you think there'll be like a sticker that says it's as part of Raise It Up, or like a certification that lets them know that this room is part of the initiative?
Sure, that's great. Great question. So what I do when a room says, yes, I want to go ahead and partner with you, I want to adopt this program, I then send them a welcome kit and a certificate. It's up to them if they want to display it. Some rooms will go ahead and put it on display. Some have it in the office, and they get patches and they get some different things. We will put it on our website as a recommended room list from there. But yeah, it's up to them. Sometimes they display it, sometimes they don't. I know some have even recently put it on Facebook that they just received their certificate. They were very proud of it. They were taking
Love that.
pictures with their advocate from that room.
I saw
And
that.
so it was really exciting. Oh, you did? Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that
it's really
was,
exciting.
can you say the names of some of them that have already
So
done
that
it?
was MGM National Harbor with Caitlin. And so
Awesome.
she hosted a ladies tournament. It was very successful. They were excited. And they were really eager to partner up. I know that in Florida, Ryan Unger, he's been really great. He jumped right in. Now I had to speak with him and some other folks, and there was a little bit of conversations between his upper management too, and that way we could get this program going.
Awesome.
Some places still have that mentality of, like you said, why do we need it? What's it necessary for? And so they just need some more conversations. So this is what we want to do. This is what it's geared for. We want to grow the room, grow the women, who come to our room, and make it a good experience for everybody. They even have poker tournaments, ladies events, and they do an add-on. That add-on piece,
Wow.
they donate the add-on to the WPA and the Raise It Up program.
Wow. What
So
room?
it's
What room?
that was Orange City in Daytona Card Club.
Okay,
So
so I will link to them as well. Orange City, Daytona Card Club. That's awesome. Good for you guys. That's amazing. I
I know
love it.
it's
Yeah.
amazing. It's
Sandy
very
and
well receptive.
that's amazing. It should be. I don't know why. I get the legal thing maybe, which we could come back to, but Sandy and I were saying, I think on our first podcast that we are women. A lot of us are older. We have expendable income. Like, I don't know why they wouldn't do everything. They try so hard with their marketing. I know at my local casino, they're not even doing social media or anything for the tournaments. They're not reporting to Hendemob. That's going to be another episode, but they could be getting so much more entries. We're getting over 200 most of our things, but those could be easily 300, maybe 400 if we had more ladies. Like, I didn't know for years that there was even tournaments at the Hustler that I could be playing. I would wait till I went to Vegas. That's how, disparate we all were, like separate. So that's amazing. I'm excited about this. And I will link to where we can see the list, the Raise It Up program, and the list of the rooms that are already, they're all up there.
Well, some of them might not be. We are revamping our website.
Okay.
And so there's a little bit of a transition.
Okay.
There might be a few that are missing, but the
Awesome.
list, as the last I looked, I think a few aren't on there, but yeah.
Awesome. Did you have a question? I know I cut you off. Sorry, Sandy. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I said this is very inspiring to see such dedicated effort to enhance diversity and exclusivity in poker. What advice would you give women who are interested in getting into poker and might feel a little intimidated?
Oh my gosh. Well, I definitely would encourage them to go to our website. It's wpa.poker, and subscribe, because they'll start getting our newsletter. They'll get some information on events. And I always recommend ladies to just get started, right? You have to start somewhere. We all were beginners. We all were intimidated to walk up to that podium. Take a deep breath and just walk up to the podium. Even if you're on the wrong side, doesn't matter. If you wind up on the tournament side and you want to play a cash game, all right, walk over to the other side, right?
Right.
It's okay. We all ask questions. You don't know where to go if you don't ask, right? And then take somebody with you. Like, I think we can grow more when women start inviting women. Take your best gals, take them to a tournament,
I do
host
that.
a meetup game.
Yeah.
Like, come on,
Mhm.
ask the poker room, hey, can I have this time from this time to this time? Make it a theme. I don't know, Mimosa Monday. That's just me. Sorry.
Right. I love it.
Or,
Yeah.
or,
Yeah.
cocktails with Christina.
Yeah.
I don't care what it is.
Right.
Right.
Like, go and have fun, but do it together because there's safety in numbers. We like numbers, right?
Totally.
So
Definitely.
you could always do something like that. Then I do that with my mom. I do that with my stepmom, my kids. We make it a family thing, so we can
It's
all
more
go together.
fun. Yeah, it's
And
more
it is more
fun
fun.
when you're playing
It
with
is.
people. I love
Yeah.
that idea. Maybe even I've been thinking about, we have a live stream at Lucky Lady now, maybe like an all female live stream because it's constantly, I've played on
Yeah.
it. I'm the only woman usually, and usually there's not even a woman on it, which I can see. But maybe I like the meetup game, like a women's meetup game, even before trying to do something huge like a tournament. So maybe we can work on that in our respective areas. And I mentioned the LIPS Ladies in Poker Series, is it? Ladies International
Ladies
Poker Series.
International.
Yeah, Lupe Soto, you can find that on Facebook and on the WPA site, I believe. They're having a whole women's like all these championship tournaments during the WSOP. I'm really trying to get out there with my schedule, but at the end of the month, around like June 25th, I want to say, around there, 17th, 25th, that my dates are all mixed up, but I will link that to that also for any ladies who want to go out there, DM me or comment, and we will hook you up with as many people, as many women as we can out there. Because I went last year by myself and for WPT, and they had something similar, and it was so fun. It was super fun and just so different than the seriousness of playing is a different seriousness of playing like in a regular tournament where there's maybe one other woman that you see, right?
Right. Absolutely.
So,
Oh, go ahead.
Christina, have you started playing any of the World Series games? Have you entered any of the tournaments yet? Or are you waiting for the later ones at the end of the month?
I haven't yet. So thankfully though, because I tried playing cash the other day and just with my car accident, I wasn't able to do it.
Yeah.
So to enter in a long tournament, I don't think my
Oh,
body is ready.
That's
However, I will
right.
be playing 7 stud 8 or better. Um a $1,500 event at the end of the month. I think it's on the 27th or 28th, something. It's during Ladies Week.
awesome.
But that's okay, because I'll be at a lot of the ladies events anyway,
Yes.
whether I'm playing or just observing and cheering my best gals on. So yeah, there hasn't been any WSOP. I played cash a little bit. Summer is really good in Vegas for the cash games,
Oh.
and tournaments as well. And so while I might not, win a bracelet or get a ring, I will have some money in my backpack because the
That's
cash
amazing.
games are still lucrative.
Are
You know?
you a mixed game player? You sound like you like to play mixed games.
So most recently, though, about 3 years ago, I joined a horse league here in
Nice.
Vegas, and so we play once a month for about 9 months or so, and we get to win a seat. And so that's what I've been picking up those games. As far as anything further, not so much. Mostly it's a lot of hold'em for me, but I do like
Right.
to dabble in mixed game from time to time.
Yeah, I'd love to have a
Interesting.
conversation about that at a later date. So
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. I have yet to learn any of those. I'm still focusing on Hold'em, but I wanted to go back before I forget. Two questions. One is about, you mentioned like a purple tie or a tie-dye men's program. I want to hear
Yes.
about that because even on this podcast, we have like over 2,000 views, and I noticed 96%, believe it or not, are male on this podcast, because this is not just for women. This is, like I said, for all poker, because it just makes it better for all of us and not that men's thing that it's their private thing anymore. So I wanted to talk about that. And then I had one more question after that about the legal
Sure.
stuff. So go ahead, Christina.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So the purple tie guy, we noticed that there were some guys who, how can we support you? What can we do? Besides just being a member or subscribing to the WPA,
Love that.
because you're right, men are interested. Men want to support, they want to encourage more than we think, and sometimes they're behind the scenes. Sometimes they're, what can we sponsor? What can we buy a lady in? You know, we do
Wow.
raffles and we do different fundraising efforts, and men will buy our raffle tickets. They will just gift it to a lovely
Wow.
lady, right? And or our basket or whatever we happen to have at the time. We get a lot of male support. And so the purple tie guy is just a advancement of our advocacy program, but for men.
How
And
do they
we do
sign up?
we have a patch for that, just the same way a female would. You know, on the website, I think believe it says join, and then
Okay.
they just enter in their information, and then that's how they join.
I
Yeah.
love that because they do
That's
ask
great.
me when I talk about the podcast. Most guys are like happy. They're like looking at it. They're giving me good feedback. And then they say, what could we do to help for more women in poker? And I wasn't sure, but this is a
Yeah.
great thing. So you guys can go to the WPA website, the Purple Tie Guy, and just join. Just join. It's free, it sounds like, and you can get a patch. You don't need to wear it, but you can if you want to. And
Sure.
in that it's supporting more ladies in poker and telling your rooms that you would like something like the Raise It Up program and watching the podcast and supporting, telling your lady friends, go join a female tournament and things like that, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Poker
Yeah.
is getting more mainstream. We're having another poker boom, I think. So like we did way back with Moneymaker and when it first was getting on ESPN and things. So I think the timing is awesome. Um, my last question, I think, on the program. So legally, you said it might go to legal. I read it. It doesn't seem like there's anything they should be concerned about because it's not mandating. Do you have any?
Some of the more private rooms, it was mostly to do with their logo, believe it or not. And while a lot of logos
Oh,
are on the internet and are public access,
okay.
sometimes the logo is very specific, right? The
Okay.
A might be a certain capitalization, or there might have, you know, the font might be very specific. And
Okay.
so sometimes rooms, they want to just cover their bases, right? While you speak to a poker room manager or a director, sometimes they just want to make sure, is this something we can be
Okay.
part of? Is it
Okay.
not? But yeah, and it's always an in-depth conversation. Like I've spoke to
Okay.
this room back and forth. But yeah, no, you're absolutely correct. It shouldn't be, it shouldn't have to go that far. However, I'm very respectful for whatever policies
Mhm.
and programs they have in place, and I wouldn't want
Okay.
them to do something
Yeah.
that they weren't comfortable with.
I mean, that makes sense. And you're looking at like what Bellagio, Venetian, Encore, these are multi-gazillion dollar, who knows? So I see that. But I also pulled up the you will be included in our WPA recommended poker room
Mhm.
with a website link. Do you have an idea about how many women are in WPA that would be checking here like I do and Sandy does?
Gosh, I just high guessing over 5,000. And it
Right.
could be a lot more because we
Right.
have a lot of different women who follow Twitter, that follow Facebook, that go to our website, that get our newsletter. And so sometimes it's hard to calculate the real numbers of
Right.
everything, right?
Right.
Right.
And then some are supporters and they don't have any social media. So it's
True.
hard
True.
to track those
Um,
ladies as well.
I
So
see that patches and it's like instant camaraderie and friendship. Also, Poker League of Nations, Lena Evans, I sat next to her at the circuit event. I think she said they have over 10,000, and that might be wrong. And a lot of them are crossover. We're both, right?
oh
And
yeah,
then,
yeah.
right, Pocket Queens, like we all support, we all represent. That's a study group, you guys. I've have the links, but I'll put them here too. Like we're talking like right there is a lot of thousands of women that are ready to do this and it just can just build on itself, which I think is amazing. So if you guys want to go check that out, you can. You see the page here, and I will put the links for that. And do you have any last questions, Sandy, or any? And then I'll ask
I
Christina for last.
do.
Okay, good.
Christina, what do you love about poker?
Oh my gosh. I love the competitiveness. I love being able to challenge myself, right? I mean, you talked earlier about like going on tilt. Sometimes our frustration is internal. It's not any other outside force. It's how could I have done better? What could I have done to improve, right? So what I love about poker is that it gives me the ability to practice some of my skills, not just in poker, but in life too. I have a sales and marketing background, and sometimes negotiation and reading people is not just at the poker table. It's also can be in the boardroom. So there's a lot of crossover. I think personally, it started out just as more family focused, something for us to do, something for us to entertain ourselves, and get better, naturally. But I love that poker has also introduced me to, and not in the WPA as well, right? Like it's not just a nonprofit program for me, but I have life friendships with these ladies now. And some of these ladies, they've known each other for 18 to 20 years.
Wow.
Which is kind of crazy because we're not that old. No, just kidding. No,
We're not.
That was great.
but no, but
True.
realistically, even when I first moved to Vegas, I left my friend group in Idaho, moving to Vegas by myself as a single mom with my teenage daughter. My friends were poker dealers, some poker players, but I've been able to, now I have a whole group of friends that I get to hang out with and just support life, right? So while it's a game of poker, it's also a livelihood of different things for me. I absolutely love it.
Fantastic.
Me too.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I think it's, as we're women, as we've gotten older, it's hard to make friends. And I think poker really opens that outlet to meet new people. I mean, look at me and Julie. We've known each other for a little bit over time, seeing each other at poker rooms. And we got along really well and we started talking. It's a lot of fun making new friends. And it definitely is part of life.
Yeah. And I'm excited to see you and the ladies if I can make it out there this summer. And if not, then I'll come in Christmas. And I love the camaraderie. I love the networking that we do as women. I've mentioned some of the resources. If you don't even know about poker and you're watching this for some reason, Poker Power, Jenny Just, she is a fintech CEO. It's a great app. It literally has taught a couple of my girlfriends how to play poker from not knowing at all. Like maybe we played a home off the cuff game at a party or something, but it will teach you. Go and try. It's free for ladies. And do you have any other I already said the other ones. Do you have any other resources, Christina, besides WPA that you would suggest to ladies newer or bloggers or anything like that?
Anything that our Facebook does highlight a few different folks.
Yeah.
So if you go on the WPA Facebook, you can see we like to spotlight women, right? Whether it's somebody who does a vlog or somebody who's making a deep run, we do provide those types of things, more so on our Facebook. Our website might have a calendar and some other information.
Events,
Our newsletter, events, things like that. Our newsletter will provide some information as well. So if you subscribe, then you do automatically get that newsletter sent out to you. And then of course, during Ladies Week, we'll send out text messages reminding you, hey, of the day, this is what events that we have. And we're very inclusive. So we're women supporting women, right?
Is that through Facebook, the text, or how do they get on the text?
I think it actually goes to their cell phone if we have their cell phone number, because I got it one time and I was like, what is this? That's cool.
Okay. That's awesome.
So just little things that we can do. And then I believe we set up the Facebook to do the reminders as well. So awesome. That would be where, and you've already listed some really good places of resource.
So I forgot though, subscribe to the email, because you guys, the fundraisers and just the events and the last minute things that I see there, that I don't check Facebook as often. I'm bad about that, but they have such a great Facebook. Like that's where we could see things like you said, they already reposted the Maria Konnikova and Maria Ho thing. Like they're right on top of it. So they subscribe, ladies. If you're new, if you're old, subscribe. It will be worth it. I promise you. There's so much value there. Yeah, thank you. I knew I was forgetting something with that. Sandy, anything?
No, that's it. Christina, thank you so much for sharing your insights with us.
Great.
Incredible work that you guys are doing at the WPA. We love it. We want more women to play and be involved, and this is a great way to start.
Yes. And if you guys have comments about Raise It Up or questions, put them in the comments here, and we can always do another one or like a Q&A, or I will get your questions to Christina or whoever they should go to. I hope this was fun for you, Christina, and we are just so grateful that you came on the show.
Definitely.
Yes,
We're
I
really
loved it.
grateful.
Thank you so much for the invitation. Honestly, I appreciate it. This is a passion of mine. I always think of when I first started, you know,
Mhm.
what was my hesitation and I started as a single mom.
Yeah.
So if I can
Incredible.
start, you know, anybody really can, right?
Yes.
But it's a need, right? And I'm very passionate about it, and I want to encourage other ladies. That's all I want to do, right? Make it
Yeah.
encouraging and exciting. So yes, anything that I can do to help, or talk to your room, or like I said, you know, just reach out to, and my contact information is open. So whatever you want to share there, you can share my email as well. So
Okay,
that's fine.
I will. Awesome. And you were so helpful with me, and we're going to keep working on their local rooms, and
Sure.
I'm sure we'll stay in touch. Thank you so much. Thanks
Yay,
everyone
Thank
for
you.
listening.
Wonderful. Bye.
Um,